Hi guys, now I'm doing some news about in Formula One. It's the August break, so not much to report on apart from one major story. This came out a couple of days ago, and it's to do with Pierre Gasly. Due to his poor performance, he has been dropped from Red Bull and moved to Toro Rosso, back to the B team with Toro Rosso, and they're going to take Albon from Toro Rosso to Red Bull because he's not been performing as well. And this is what Red Bull do. For people that don't know, Toro Rosso is basically the B team of Red Bull. They bring the young drivers through the Red Bull Academy into Formula One. And then anyone who really performs well and anyone who's not performing well with Red Bull will then, or a seat becomes available in Red Bull, they then promote that young driver from Toro Rosso to the senior team. And this is what they're doing here. There's a lot of people saying why they didn't choose Kvyat, and though he's been much improved this season, he's come back a completely different driver, and he's been performing well, such as the podium in Germany, finishing third. My guess is that they've tried that avenue before, and it didn't work, and it ended up Verstappen replacing him, and then obviously Verstappen winning his first race in the Red Bull. So yeah, so they're thinking they've tried that avenue and they should try someone else first before possibly giving him the seat, because you never know. It may turn out that Albon struggles to match Verstappen because that whole team's built around Verstappen at a minute, and it's hard to battle him in a head-to-head. Don't get me wrong, it's a difficult seat to fill. And if he doesn't fill it to the way they want to, they could end up dropping him. And if Kvyat outperforms Gasly in the Toro Rosso for the rest of the season, you can find Kvyat in with Verstappen next season. So it's not out of the question. That's why Kvyat's back in the Toro Rosso. So yeah, so I mean, I'm just going to go through some of Gasly's results and probably it will explain in itself why he's been dropped. Because don't forget, he's finishing he's competing in a car that should finish at least top six, because of the top three teams. So Australia, he qualified 17th, he finished 11th. Bahrain, he finished 8th, where last year he finished 4th in the Toro Rosso, and Albon actually finished 9th behind him this year. China, he was last of the top six by a fair margin. Azerbaijan was a DNF, means he did not finish. Spain again last of the top six, not really competing against the top six in that race. Monaco was fifth, and last of the top five remaining cars because Leclerc crashed out. Canada, he finished 8th. France, 10th. The British Grand Prix, 4th. And that was given to him thanks to Vettel and Verstappen crashing out. Though I do feel was trying to compete with the top six by this point in this race. He felt a bit happy with the car. Germany, he finished 14th despite his teammate winning. Austria, sorry, I missed out. He finished 7th, though his teammate won the race. And finally, Hungary, he finished 6th, last of the top six, and his own teammate in the same machinery lapped him. Was a full lap ahead, which was sort of the final nail on the coffin. His head-to-head between Verstappen, him and Verstappen. Gasly won to Verstappen's 11 in qualifying, and in the race it's Gasly's 2 to Verstappen's 10. So if it, in that case, as a boxing match, it would have been stopped. You can tell by those stats the writing was on the wall, so it just wasn't working out. Whether Kvyat and Albon in their head-to-head, though they were level in qualifying, Kvyat was ahead in the race head-to-head, but only by 7.5. So Albon could have made that up by the end of the season, but we won't know that now. But the fact he's done that, managed to keep up with Kvyat, who's already got experience in Formula One, a few years' experience, and been able to keep up with him in his debut season, is a credit to Albon's driving. So now, other than that's the main story covered. I'm going to also do the ratings halfway through the season, see how everyone's got on this season. I'm going to start obviously from the top down. So Mercedes, if it weren't for the mistake at Germany, it would have been a 10. It would have been a 10. But that was a right cock up in German Grand Prix. 50-second pit stop was just not on. But apart from that, they've been faultless. Despite everyone believing that Ferrari were going to have the faster car this year, and really push Mercedes to the limit, they've really not had to push that much. The only time they've had to push is between the two teammates. So for me, they get a 9. Hamilton made a little mistake in Germany, so I don't do 0.5s, and most of his driving, I mean, like Hungary, was just to force Verstappen into a situation where he could then pit for softs, and Verstappen would have no reply to that strategy, was just a credit to Hamilton's driving, because he had to push Verstappen that much, so it ruined his tyres. So yeah, I'll give Hamilton a 10 for that. For his driving this season, it's been relentless. That's why it's 62 points ahead, which is way more than 2 race wins and 2 fastest laps. 10 points more. So, and last time he was in that position, I think it was 2015, around there, and he didn't lose the championship. I think it was less points, actually. So, Ferrari, I give a 3, and I think that's even a bit generous. I did not think after pre-season testing we would be here 13 rounds later, 12 rounds later, and they have not won a race. After getting pole and Bahrain, yeah, all right, fine. Vettel was making mistakes, and Leclerc had his problems, which they could have controlled. So there was rumours of them testing the engine too much. Don't know, but yeah, Austria, I still say Leclerc should have won that, but but that's the decision of the stewards. Yeah, the races where they should have been dominant, they haven't been. So yeah, 3 for me. They should have been at least making sure that gap to Hamilton was that much between Vettel and Hamilton, and a lot closer to Mercedes than over 100 points by this point. So Vettel, I give a 5 because he's had moments of brilliance, but then again, like last season, like 2017, he's been making mistakes again. Bahrain, the same mistake he made in 2018 towards the end of the season, and mistaking the British Grand Prix again. And with Hamilton, you can't make mistakes. You can't make mistakes with Hamilton because he rarely makes any. So yeah, a 5. Leclerc, I think, has been performing better, so he hits a 7. 2 pole positions. Should have had 2 race wins, but luck didn't go his way. So Red Bull, I give a 7 because they had a slow start to the season, but gradually they've improved and now look to be really sort of the main challenger to Mercedes in a minute. I see Red Bull second and the Ferrari third in a minute. So Verstappen, I give him a 9. I was tempted to give him an 8, but I'll give him a 9 because some of his driving's been outstanding. The way he was second on the grid in Austria and managed to come through and win the race was extraordinary. Though he has had his mistakes this season, but not as many as he did last season. So Gasly, as we all know about, has been so poor. So I give him a 2 or a 3. So Renault a 4 because they look like to be the 4th place team. They look like they'll be a 4th place team to push on and try and start challenging the top 6. And turns out they haven't. And that's why McLaren are ahead of them in the championship right now. Ricciardo and Hulkenberg are both 6. They've been sort of level with each other all season. So yeah, I'll give them a 6 between the two of them. Haas a 5 because they've been brilliant in qualifying just under the top 6, but they've not shown it in race trim. So not getting the tyres to work out of their temperature range, so they've just been poor in races. So Grosjean I give a 6 and Magnussen a 7, due to the fact Magnussen's had the better sort of pole position, better qualifying record. McLaren I give an 8. For me, they've been the most improved team of the campaign so far. They've shown absolutely, even on circuits that don't really suit their track, they've shown tremendous pace, competing with Renault and quite easily beating Renault, and Haas to basically the winners of the B teams. So Norris I give an 8 because on his debut he was brilliant. Was unlucky with Giovinazzi in the traffic, but was brilliant in qualifying. All this season he's been looking like a very, very good promise for British interests in Formula One after Hamilton's retired. So I hope he lives up to that expectation and then carries on like this because he's been absolutely brilliant. And I hope McLaren can still push on and give him the car that he needs. So Sainz is 7 because he's just been just as good, but maybe not had so much luck or performance as I feel Norris has. Racing Point a 4. I don't think they're performing well. They were sort of towards the back of the grid, and have sort of been that way, or not really challenging the top 10 for a while, or throughout this season, despite the updates they bring. They promised with this whole new team and the whole new ownership they'd have more updates, and it really hasn't shown much. Stroll and Perez have been sort of same level, and I give them a 5 or a 6. 5. Torro Rosso have been very good this season. The 3rd place in Germany, great strategy by the team with Kvyat, absolutely brilliant. Albon's had some fantastic races as well, and well in the points constantly, so I give them a 7, and both of their drivers will get a 7 as well for me, because they've just been sort of the same level. And yeah, maybe Kvyat's been a little bit better, but they've really sort of shown the same pace of each other. So Alfa Romeo, again, another improved team, especially when they've got Raikkonen as a world champion driver, really helps them, and they bring a very good team and well improved team, and I give them and Raikkonen a 7. Giovinazzi I give a 4 because he's not been anywhere near his teammates' level at all. I don't get Giovinazzi because he had one race in China and crashed out in 2017. So I don't get why they still choose Giovinazzi, to be honest, because he doesn't show anything brilliant to me. He's also one of those drivers that takes part, but is never gonna make it the odd point or two, but is never gonna challenge um, for a place to stay. So I think he could be gone by the end of the season. And finally, Williams 2, and that's being generous because they've been way off the pace. I mean, way off the pace. So it's just been left to the two teammates to basically have a fight with each other. It's been the B teams, and then there's been Williams. So Russell did absolutely outstanding in Hungary to try and get the car out of Q1. It was unbelievable. And that was a tremendous effort because they managed to bring the updates that they finally took 12 races to bring. And for that, Russell gets an 8 for me because he's been outperforming his teammate constantly. I think he beat his teammate in qualifying in terms of qualifying battle. Kubica, maybe limited because of the car he's got. Maybe it's part of it because of his disability. I don't know. I don't really want to point it on that because I know he's a good driver because I've seen him in the past, and so for me, he gets a 5 in a minute. I hope he stays on and improves. So yeah, those are my ratings. I'm gonna have to stop talking. My mouth's getting dry. Yeah, that's the news on F1 at the minute. Let me know what you think. Do you think it should have been Albon or Kvyat? Do you think that Gasly should have been given more time? I'd run a poll actually on that, and you can vote on it if you want to. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.